Joining us now, Democrat Congressman from the great state of Texas, Vicente Gonzalez. And just for everyone's context, if we were plotting out where everyone was ideologically, I would be kind of on the right side of center, maybe like AOC and Bernie would be left of center, but right there in the middle, you would find my next guest, Vicente Gonzalez. Congressman, thanks for being here. We've shown our audience a ton of the footage on the trip to El Salvador that you co-led. What do you think is important about the U.S.-El Salvador relationship that you're focused on?
Well, I think it's important to bring to light where El Salvador is today as opposed to where it was less than a decade ago or even just 5 years ago. The most crime-ridden country in the world and is now the safest country in our hemisphere when great things are happening in El Salvador. There are issues, obviously, that concern the American people that we could be happy to discuss with you, but the fact is they've turned that country around into a productive country where young people are growing safely. Families can now go to the pupusa stand or go to school or go to church on Sunday without worried about being mugged or raped or murdered, as we saw happen for many years.
We always debate and discuss the push and pull factors that impact migration. You represent a border district that feels the brunt of this. How do you think about the United States' role in seeing success and security in areas that have contributed so many migrants over the years?
Well, I hope that we can take models like this and spread them to other countries in Latin America that are dealing with similar situations and bring safety and security to the hemisphere, which I think will allow the entire hemisphere to prosper more. We'd be able to do more trade and more business. As we're seeing in El Salvador, a lot of more foreign investment is going into El Salvador. Salvadorians that are living in the United States are going home. Many of them are investing in home where they hadn't before. So I think now you're going to start seeing the economy of El Salvador start blossoming, and hopefully it's an example to other countries in the region.
So you have proposed a number of common sense ideas for the border, and actually there are a lot of us on the right that are grateful that Joe Biden didn't take them because he probably would have had a more successful political effort. But maybe explain to my audience, just as a border area Democrat, some of the ideas you've had to reduce the strain there.
Yes. So what I've been proposing, being a member of Congress on the border, and haven't seen the massive influx of migrants that would show up just indiscriminately at any given time, was creating safe zones in Central America, in Guatemala. I proposed Guatemala at one time. El Salvador would be a great place today. Panama, where all migrants that are coming north to our southern border would, under my proposal, must stop at these safe zones, which would be places that we would run in conjunction with our host country, and have migrants process their asylum claim at that juncture. And if you're going to send them home, it's easier to do it from that place. And if you're going to allow them in, even under the credible fear standard that we have today, which is a very low standard, it's better to give them a document and have them fly to their final destination, wherever it is they're going in the country, because at some point when they get to our southern border, we allow them in, and it does two things. It takes the pressure off our southern border, and it removes the Mexican cartels that have literally made billions of dollars trafficking people to my district and other places.
We don't want to compete with the cartels for the trafficking business.
We don't. We want to put them out of business.
Yeah.
And this is just one way of dealing with migration further away from our border. Now, I believe we should still make those investments, even right now that migration is down. We're the greatest country in the world, and I believe humans will always want to migrate to the United States of America.
Yeah, but you concede that on the border there's been a massive decrease in
the
flow of people. I mean, certainly the change in Trump policies contributed to that improving
without a doubt. But what I'm saying is, politics changed, policies changed. If you talk to law enforcement along the border, they'll tell you, people that have been around for 20 or 30 years, they'll talk to you about different policies from different presidents at different times that created different conditions on our southern border. And what I'm talking about is having infrastructure to deal with migration in Central America and take the pressure off our southern border permanently.
We also visited a children's home where we saw, no other way to say it, that in some cases the children of monsters.
That's right.
And I was heartened.
Yeah.
Well, but I was heartened that evil is clearly not something that is passed from one generation to the next naturally, because they were some of the warmest and kindest kids. Describe your experience going to this children's home and maybe what it taught you about humanity.
Yes, and it's exactly right. I think every child stands on their own feet, and humanity, I think at the end of the day, blesses hopefully these young kids that are living under different conditions, that are children of the incarcerated, of the worst, of the very worst within that country. And you've seen them going to school, playing with each other, learning life skills in the home that we visited. So great things are happening. And, I assume they need resources. Hopefully they start growing their economy and with time have a diminished jail system, right? Because if you stop producing criminals, eventually you don't need the jail, the massive prison that they have now.
I've got to ask you one final question about what's going on Capitol Hill. Republicans seem to be having a challenge uniting some of their fiscal hawks with the rest of the caucus on this big reconciliation bill. As Democrats are watching that, when you're in the minority, it's a different role. Do you think there's any chance that the Republicans get any Democrat votes on this reconciliation bill, or are they going to have to find every one of those in their own caucus?
It's too early to tell, right? If they have proposals that I think work for certain Democrats in certain districts, you never know. But I think they have trouble. They'll have trouble enough with dealing with their own caucus, right? I think there's a lot of. The fact is, 75 of the poorest districts in America are represented by Republicans, and when you want to cut Medicaid and school lunch programs and those type of programs, conservative, Republican, rural American districts hurt. And I think you hear the reaction from some of the Republicans in the House.
It'll be interesting to watch. Democrat Texas Congressman
Absolutely.
Vicente Gonzalez, we appreciate all of your expertise, and we hope that it leads to a safer world that we can all enjoy.
Thank you.
Hey folks, Matt Gaetz here, host of The Matt Gaetz Show. Want to catch every episode of my primetime talk show? Just sign up for the OAN Live app and join me Monday through Friday, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, for real news, real talk, and the behind-the-scenes info that you want. Stay informed, stay engaged. Go to live.oann.com. That's live.oann.com. Sign up today. Tune in every weeknight.